welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. I had to carry on. I had to keep going. If you did not see these absolutely beautiful ocean themed alcohol ink key rings, I'm going larger scale and we are doing coasters. So like all resin videos moving forward on my channel, I will be using Vista Resin. In this one, I'm going to be using the Cascade, which is a perfect depth for this. I'm going to link the details down below, so do not forget your quadruple miles with my code, the mold. Oh my gosh. The mold is from Moulds and Shapes in the Netherlands. You can get 5% off with my code CCC5. Now, if you did not see this video, I made a bunch of pendants using alcohol inks. Didn't like most of the results. But I loved these ocean ones and I want to recreate in a larger scale using this coaster mold, and I just was hoping that the results were amazing. And I have to tell you right now, VoiceOver Claire does not know the results. I have not demolded yet, so I'm really just keeping everything crossed they come out as they are in my head, you know, a bigger version of the little baby ones. So I've mixed my resin. I didn't really measure because I know I don't want to fill these up, so I kind of eyeballed it really. I stirred my resin for 5 minutes and here I am just pouring it into the mold. I'm making sure that I've got a gap of around 1 to 2 mils at the top to allow for all of the alcohol ink that is going to go in. Now, if you did watch my last video, that was my first video in a very long time using alcohol inks, and it was only on demold I realized I only put one layer in. Like, who does that? Nobody does that. So, you know, I took away and I learned from it, and I just knew I wanted to carry on and try some more. So I'm filling up my molds to a level that I think is okay, and I'm going to give them a really good blast of heat from my heat gun. Things like this, these tools and everything like that will be linked down below in my Amazon storefront. I honestly could not do resin if it was not for this heat gun. It is just a dream. And you don't want to apply too much heat. You don't want to upset your silicone molds. But honestly, these molds from Moulds and Shapes can handle the heat. They can handle the heat from this heat gun. I just wouldn't use an open flame or a blowtorch on this silicone. You do need to try and protect your molds as much as possible. So yeah, I go over all 4 and I give them a thorough blast with my heat gun. This is going to make the resin a little bit more liquid, but also remove all the air bubbles. The primary use of the heat gun is to remove the air bubbles, and yeah, there are obviously other ways to get less air bubbles in your resin, but that's a whole other video. That is all I'm doing here. I did actually splash some out of the mold, so I do use a wet wipe. I do go in with a wet wipe and I just clear off those edges. I want these to be as neat as possible for when I drop the inks. Sometimes resin stuck on the sides can just be a bit of a hindrance. Here we go. Now straight away I noticed something's not right. When does it all go to plan? It doesn't. It just doesn't. I hope you're all here for that. This is what it should look like. This is what it should look like when you pour alcohol ink into resin. It was at this moment I realized I'd picked up the wrong bottle. I picked up resin pigment. Okay, some of these bottles look identical, so please make sure you read the labels before you add your pigment. At least we could all see what the difference was between a resin pigment and a resin alcohol ink. It should spread like this. It should. But luckily, yeah, I caught it quickly. I knew something wasn't right. Here we are. I'm using all of the same blues that I used in the miniature version of this mold. I'm just adding my gold at the bottom. The difference between this video and the last video is that I am adding a lot of alcohol ink. I'm adding between 3 to 4 layers per mold, and oh my gosh, fingers crossed, it gives me so much more depth, more texture, more everything. But if you are new to alcohol ink, I'm not being too precise. You will notice I'm really not. I'm a little bit bad at that. I'm a bit bad at that. The general rule of thumb is that you drop your alcohol ink colors and then you drop the white on top to sink it down into the resin. You want to try and avoid putting any white into clear resin areas, because then the white will just sink to the bottom and you'll get this white blobby effect. I don't think it always looks that bad, but it can look quite horrific. You'll see here on this coaster I do have a clear resin space right at the top right now. I made sure not to put any white near there. But the alcohol inks I generally use are Pinata, I use Let's Resin, and my white is Pinata Blanco Blanco. And yeah, I think they're the ones I really pretty much get on best with. Here we are. I'm gonna actually put some mellow music on, because honestly, if you're anything like me, I just look at alcohol inks and I'm just sit in awe. I am in awe of the science, the way they dance together, the way they move, the way they blend, and just, I could watch this for hours, absolutely hours. Sometimes I wish that they would dance and move for so much longer than they do. They only kind of dance for about 15 seconds and then they slow down and get to work. But it's the dancing for me. So yeah, I'm going to chill. I'm going to put some cool mellow music on and let you enjoy the beauty that is alcohol ink.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. We don't need no more. Even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm. Before I sleep, hear the crickets, see the moon. Side by side and through and through. No limit to what we can do. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Enjoyed the close-up shots of that. I think you'll agree with me, it is mesmerizing. I still don't know what these look like on demold, haven't done it yet. This is, yeah, it hasn't happened yet. So, you know, the process of this far outweighs anything else, because just looking at the way they dance and play together right now, yeah, I feel like I could do a whole video on this just with music. Honestly, just with music. So let me know if that is something you would like as kind of like a chill out video. Something I've never really done on my channel, but yeah, a whole video of just watching alcohol inks dance and move together. you just saw me run out of one of my favourite blues, so I feel like I'm on easy listening radio right now because of that song. That song, I don't know, I just love the lyrics. It actually makes me emotional listening to it, and I knew I had to put that in here because, yeah, I really, really loved it. But let me know your thoughts so far. Let me know if you've done alcohol inks. We still don't know what these results are, so fingers crossed they are decent. If they're not decent, then the process has been worth it. Just the sheer relaxation that alcohol inks bring, and just the visual, the love I have when I watch the way they move together. And you just saw me run out of yet another alcohol ink. I'm so sad that I can't buy alcohol inks in packs of blues only, because we all know that blue is my colour. And just to be able to buy a whole pack of alcohol inks with blues would just be a dream, and they're not really available in a whole pack of blues. Pinata sell it as a set, and that's what you get. But you will notice, if you have been watching, I'm not very neat with alcohol inks. I'm not very precise. The general rule of thumb, like I said, is that you drop 1 drop of white down on top of 1 drop of colour. That never really works out for me. I tend to just go crazy. I do try not to add any white in the clear spaces, as I mentioned, but other than that, I don't really pay any mind to it. Yeah, I'm just staring at this now on the screen, thinking I should have put another song on. But I hope you are really loving the process here. And something really interesting happened with the gold. All 4 coasters had a different gold reaction. So yeah, this one here, it stayed at the bottom. This one got pushed to the top. The bottom 2, somewhere in the middle. So it's really intriguing to find out what happens with that. Really don't know. This is 24 hours later, and I'm going to fill the moulds up. I'm using Resin 8 Pigment Inky Depths, and I'm also throwing in some of this glitter by Heyyyyy Ultra Sparkle Blue. It's gone green in there. I guess the blue resin has hidden most of the blue glitter, and we've got this almost holographic green. I'm not mad about it. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's just to make the backs a little bit pretty and to save all that sanding. I do love to fill up my moulds, and I just pour it down on top, make sure it all goes to the edges. I did have to make more resin. I was limited in this little cup. I did go and make some more. Okay, so this is 24 hours later, and again I am underwhelmed by the results. I am going to make them pretty, and I still love them. I still love the end results, but yeah, even though I went hard on the 4 layers of alcohol ink and white, I'm still getting really kind of meh results. This is the kind of thing I was looking for. This is a keyring I made a solid 2 years ago on my channel, and this is when I was really into alcohol inks and watching all the amazing creations that I was getting, the results I was getting from them at that time. Now, couple of things. I don't know if my alcohol inks have in fact kind of expired, or it's the resin. Now, the viscosity of your resin really does matter when you're using alcohol inks, and it could be that the Cascade is simply the wrong resin for it. So what I've done is I've ordered a 1-to-1. So when I made those alcohol ink creations a couple of years ago and getting the results I really was craving this time, I was using a 1-to-1 resin, a completely different resin, not Vista. It was a 1-to-1, and it was so much thicker, and it really was a much thicker resin. So part of me is thinking I have to go on, I have to try again and look for those results I was getting when I really was first doing alcohol inks. So I have ordered some Vista 1-to-1 just to see, because I did have some but I ran out and never tried it with alcohol inks. But anyway, here is a close-up. Okay, I was trying to get my camera to do the 3 times zoom. So yeah, we have got a billion teeny tiny little kind of cells in there. It is kind of pretty. To the naked eye, I can see it, but just on camera as it was, it really wasn't picking it up. So I thought I'd try and zoom in on my camera. My camera didn't like this. It felt shaky. It was kind of jolting all over the place, so forgive that. But this is just to show you the detail that actually is in there. I didn't see much variation between the colours I used either. Really wasn't. But the one where I accidentally used the resin dye instead of alcohol ink actually was nice. Here we are. I am saving them. I am saving them. I didn't go through the whole Cricut process and the weeding. We all know that's not my favourite thing. But I got these gorgeous beachy slogans just to bring them back. Bring them back to life. This one, I honestly really love the alcohol effect in this. So again, it's a much smaller mould. Does that make a difference? Not sure. But Beach Bum, I thought it was a perfect little slogan that I found on my Cricut design space, and I put a nice chunky keyring on there, so that's not going anywhere anytime soon if it does go on your keys. But I'm loving this. Beach vibes only. And then we go on to I Was Made for the Beach. Honestly, the Cricut design space has some amazing beach themed, but if I typed in the word holiday, which we would call any holiday, it was coming up with Christmas. Everything was Christmas because, again, it's an American app. So, you know, if you wanted to do anything else, you could kind of create your own in your own design space, but these slogans were enough for me. Island vibes only is probably one of my favorites, but I think the way the other one came out with some of the glitter coming through and the accidental resin dye, that gave me mermaid vibes. So I searched mermaid on my Cricut design space and it had so much on there for mermaids. You cannot go wrong. I still love them as a whole piece. I could have easily just made these using mica powders, I think, because the alcohol ink effect still hasn't really done its job for me. But as a beach vibe coaster, they are winning. I love them so much. But yeah, they really do look like a basic kind of mica powder or even alcohol ink dyed coaster, because like I said, the alcohol ink didn't come through. But that's okay. They're still beautiful and they are still rocking the beach vibes. Loving them, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do keep an eye out. I am really trying to kind of push my alcohol ink back to where I was a few years ago with it, but I'm going to try this new resin. I've ordered it, should be with me tomorrow or the day after, and hopefully I will get better results with the one-to-one thicker viscosity kind of resin. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this one. I hope you have too, and if you're still here, do not forget to give me that big fat thumbs up and subscribe. I always forget to say it, but subscribe if you're still here. You will enjoy it, and I appreciate you all, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.
Where is the line between dreaming and feeling blue? It's 4 o'clock in the evening. I haven't left my room, but the truth is, if I'm honest, I feel stuck here in the middle. Am I one of those crazy people? Should I stay here or should I let go? Well, the sheets over my head, hoping change is gonna find